Hey guys, Hitman89 here, I hope you're doing great. Last week we had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre review, check it out if you're interested. And today we're gonna be diving into Lords of the Fallen 2 months later. This was one of the most anticipated games of 2023, especially after those Unreal Engine 5 tech demos. But sadly, when the game actually launched, it was full of bugs, it had some serious performance issues across all platforms, and most importantly, it was frustrating to play. That being said, it already received over 15 updates, patches and hotfixes. So is Lords of the Fallen good now? Let's find out. Not gonna lie, my first hour with this game was very enjoyable, and it's not just cause the tutorial taught me to throw rocks at my enemies, even though, as an Arab and a Muslim, I truly appreciate the gesture. In all seriousness though, artistically speaking, Lords of the Fallen looks good, especially considering this game has two worlds. Axiom, the world of the living, and Umbral, the realm of the dead. That being said, I came across a considerable amount of artifacts, glitches, and all kinds of other visual issues. Keep in mind this review was shot on PS5, but I've also tried the game on Series X, and performance-wise, it sucks dick. The frame rate drops below 60 all the time, and somehow, things get even worse in Umbral. I obviously played in performance mode, and throughout the game, I've only found a couple of spots where it actually felt like it was running at 60 FPS. I haven't had the chance to try the PC version, but I looked up several benchmark videos on YouTube, and I can confirm the game runs like shit on PC as well. So make sure you have a decent rig if you're considering picking this one up. Another thing you should keep in mind is the amount of bugs you'll encounter. Enemies falling through the ground or just levitating in the air like they just don't care can be funny, and even though bugs like those might hurt the immersion, at least they don't ruin the overall experience. But when I tried the game on Series X a couple of days ago, for some reason, I couldn't move. I mean, I know Lords of the Fallen is meant to be a challenging game, but I didn't expect to get stuck from the get-go. Shitty jokes aside, restarting the game didn't help, but switching to Umbral fixed it. So I made a little bit of progress in order to be able to test out one of the features I was most excited for, Crossplay, which was added post-launch, and I never got it to work. I must have tried at least 15 times, and the closest I got to joining a co-op session was this loading screen, and then the infamous disconnected from host, connection lost. The good news is, as I was reviewing the game, another update dropped and now crossplay works. Let's just hope they don't break it again with the next patch, cause it seems like that's what they do every other week. Anyway, even though both consoles were right next to each other, some of my hits seem to take half a second to register. Oh, and only the host gets to keep their progress. Now, when it comes to PvP, that's not really my cup of tea. I either do solo or co-op. So getting invaded isn't just annoying cause it's usually some max level dude who invades at the worst possible time, but also cause every time you get invaded, it's like you're splitting your frame rate with them. As you can see, it's nearly unplayable. Now we can all agree that shitty camera angles can be very annoying, right? Well, missing a jump or falling like I did here is way worse and can drive you crazy. I'm usually a cold-blooded person, but every time I play this game, for some reason, I look up and start wondering whether the chandelier could sustain my weight.
My wishes will not ease your suffering.
Yeah, nothing will. Except maybe a thumbs up. Seriously though, the level design is so bad I got lost many times. For example, here I kept running for my life for 10 minutes straight. I was really gonna give up on this game. Then I got lucky and I found this path that I was somehow supposed to locate with 69 giant enemies walking around in this tiny area. Enemy density is far from being the only issue I have with the level design. You can walk for a long time before you find a vestige, which is the equivalent of a bonfire in Dark Souls. And the devs know some of those are way too far from each other. That's why they give you the option to use Umbral flower beds to make your own checkpoints, as long as you have an Umbral seed. The problem is, sometimes there are flower beds right before a vestige point. You, as the player, can't possibly know that, so you would assume there is a boss fight ahead that's like 10 minutes away from the last checkpoint, cause that's what the game likes to do. But the piece of shit who designed the level, he knows what's next. So why would he put a flower bed there when there is a vestige point right around the corner? Don't worry, I did my research and I got the answer. The devs just want to waste your Umbral seeds to piss you off. Oh, and you'll be fighting the same enemies over and over again, with the addition of mini-bosses and bosses becoming elite enemies later on. The lack of enemy variety definitely makes combat way less fun. Speaking of combat, some boss fights can actually be challenging, and you'll get a huge amount of satisfaction from beating them. But there are also shitty boss fights like this one, where you can just keep slashing the monster's leg for 2 minutes while occasionally dodging their predictable attacks. Throughout the game, you'll notice a serious balancing issue. Sometimes regular enemies can be way more frustrating than those bosses that kill you 20 times in a row and make you wanna rage quit.
You look tired, friend. Haven't you already suffered enough?
No, I haven't. I'm stubborn as fuck. So instead of leveling up and coming back later, I just keep on trying over and over again until I beat the boss and possibly lose a little bit of my sanity in the process. Last but not least, one of my favorite things to do in games, which is backstabbing, is missing here. And that's a shame, because I know I'd be backstabbing left and right here. Probably because I'm a little bitch. Let's just move on to the verdict. Honestly, even with all its flaws, I like Lords of the Fallen and I had fun playing it. That being said, even after I think 18 patches now, most of its flaws still haven't been fixed yet. So is it good now? Not really. You would have to overlook a lot of issues in order to be able to have some fun playing this. And that's why I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. Even if you love Souls-like games, there is no way I can recommend this one at full price right now. But if you can get it for 35 bucks or maybe 40, then I'd say it's worth it. But you know what would be even better? If somebody got you this game for Christmas. And that's gonna be it for my Lords of the Fallen review. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, a thumbs up and a subscription would help this shitty channel a lot. It's been Hitman89. See you guys very soon.
For the pay stub or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh. Fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up. Play the game, bruh.